Safety on an Australian mine site series. First lesson, every site is different. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video we are starting a new series on how safety works in a hard rock mine site. So we're not going to talk about coal, we're going to talk about hard rock, that's where our wheelhouse is, and more specifically we're going to talk about the underground side of things. But the same rules apply on the surface to these hard rock mines as they do underground. So where are we talking about? These are all the gold and copper mines from around the country that are all looking for people at the moment. The majority of them are hard rock underground. Some of them are surface pit operations, but the majority of the work is hard rock underground. Now, why do I say the first lesson is every site is different? Well, just after I first started at the end of '94, in WA they changed the law to try to improve safety to make all the owners of the mine and their representatives directly responsible for everybody on the mine. So the way they did that was to change the mining regulations, which they've carried through into the modern ones, and you can look at the latest video that I did on for job network providers that goes through the legislation there. If you want to have a look at the legislation, I won't bore you with going through the legislation again, but it says that each employer has to be able to prove that they've trained everybody on their site. So every time you move sites from one site to another, you have to redo everything. It's like going to a new country again. You have to redo all your on-site inductions, you have to redo all your on-site equipment tickets and procedures. So it's a ginormous pain in the ass, but it's improved safety out of sight. And there's a lot of confusion around the industry because the normal Australian workplace doesn't work like that. You can go and get your R2 tickets, and you can present your tickets at the door, do a half a day safety induction, and then you can start work. It does not work like that with mining. No matter how much experience you've got, the employer has to be able to prove in a court of law that they've done everything they can to train you and keep you safe. That means that every time you switch jobs, you end up spending a week to 3 weeks doing paperwork. It's a ginormous pain in the ass, but like I said, it's made the industry a lot safer over the 30 years I've been involved in it, and they have to pay you for all that training that you do. So one of the big confusions around there is coal in Queensland, because coal in Queensland uses a different system. They use the S11 up there, and they use the R2 ticketing system. Now, their safety record against the hard rock safety record is quite stark and quite different, and that's because in the coal mines, the owners aren't directly responsible. They more run like a normal Australian workplace. Whereas with the hard rock mines around the country, including in Queensland, because the Queensland Inspectorate adopted the same hard rock standards as the WA ones and the South Australia and Tasmania and New South Wales, they just haven't transferred that over to their coal mines. But the big thing about this is the S11. Even though everybody selling you an S11 will tell you that it's nationally recognised, it's not. And you only have to go over to Seek and look at some of the job ads, and you'll see, all the truck jobs going around the place, and you can click on any of them, and none of them are asking for any S11s or any R2 truck tickets or anything like that. And this is a perfect example of this one. What they want some experience, so they for you to know how the underground trucks work and using the machinery in that work environment. They want you to have a manual driver's license. They want you to have a dangerous goods and a working at heights card, desirable, and a first aid ticket. But that's all they want you to have, because they can't bring on anything more. So they can't onboard any of the tickets, the R2 tickets. They can't onboard any of the equipment tickets. They can't onboard any of that stuff. And that's the big confusion that's around there. And that's the big thing that people don't realise about safety in the workplace in the Australian mining industry, is that it's all individualised to each individual site. And it's that anal that even if you move sites with employers, you can't take all the stuff that you've done with one employer to the new site with the other employer. You have to redo everything on the new site you go to, even though you're working for the same employer. It's just the way that they fixed safety back in the day. It really worked well, and they're not going to change it anytime soon. So it becomes really frustrating when I see a lot of social media posts about, go and do your S11 and all that sort of stuff. And S11's not going to help you get a gold mining job or a job in the copper industry. industry at the moment. You just have to click on the job ads to go and have a look. We cover all this in our training, so you can have a look at the DIY package. It's $495, $500, and you're going to find out whether you want to go mining or not. And you only have to come down here to expand it out to have a look at what we cover in the training. This is in the basic mine site operation course, so we go through all the safety stuff. And then on the nipper side, we also go through how tag boards work. I'm going to do a video about all this. I'm going to do a video about tag boards, pre-start meetings and all that sort of stuff, and safety representatives. So I'm going to go through all that and how it works in the industry, but it's in great detail in the course and the training, because you've got to know it and you've got to understand how it all works. So with safety on a mine site, the first and most important lesson is to understand that every site is different, and you're going to have to redo everything on the sites that you go to. And it's a total waste of money going out and getting equipment tickets and the S11 unless you're going to target coal in Queensland. But as I've talked about on other videos before, at $110 a tonne US, you know, a lot of these mines are marginal, unfortunately. That's why you don't see all the job ads out there. Not like the gold price and the copper price, because that's where the money is at the moment. Gold's over $4,400 an ounce Australian at the moment. It's over 14,000 a tonne in copper, and it's just huge money, and that's where the jobs are. So I hope you found that information helpful, and if you want to weigh into the industry, the best way in is to educate yourself. If you can talk to the employer about how it all works, it puts you 6 to 8 weeks ahead of everybody else that are going for these jobs. But I will continue on with my series in safety, and if you've got any questions about safety you'd like answered, please send them through, and if you could share this video around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.